Ever wondered if there's like a secret recipe for success? Well, today we're diving deep into exactly that. We're cracking open a classic from 1937, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. And this book, it's all built around one single super powerful secret. A secret Hill claimed made more millionaires than pretty much anything else. And this quote, "This is the core of everything. The whole philosophy hangs on this one big idea. Your thoughts, they aren't just random little things zipping through your head. No, they're real. They're powerful forces. In fact, Hill says they're the actual starting point for every fortune ever made."
So what was this secret that the industrial giant Andrew Carnegie told a young Napoleon Hill? Well, that one question kicked off an incredible 20-year journey. You see, Carnegie, who was one of the richest men on the planet, basically challenged Hill to figure out if success could be boiled down to a formula. And Hill took him up on it. He went and studied over 500 of the most successful people in America to crack the code.
And this book, this is what came out of all that research. Inside here is the secret. And we're not talking about some untested theory. This is the method that was used and proven by absolute titans. I'm talking about people like Henry Ford, the genius inventor Thomas Edison, and even US presidents like Theodore Roosevelt.
All right, to really get how this works, let's jump into a story that just perfectly shows the secret in action. This is the amazing story of a guy named Edwin C. Barnes.
Now, if you looked at Barnes on paper, he had zip, nothing. He showed up in New Jersey looking so rough that Thomas Edison himself apparently called him a tramp. But inside his mind, that was a different story. He had the one thing that truly mattered, this burning desire, an obsession really, to go into business with the great Thomas Edison.
And Edison even said that his appearance was, and I quote, decidedly against him. So it wasn't his clothes or his looks that got him in the door, not at all. It was something in his face. It was the raw power of his conviction, that absolute, unshakable determination. That's what made Edison give him a shot.
And this is the part that gets me. His persistence was just off the charts. For more than 5 years, Barnes did menial, unimportant jobs around Edison's laboratory. To anybody else looking, he was just another low-level worker. But in his own mind, he was already Edison's partner. Every single day, he was just waiting for the rest of the world to catch on.
And you know what? It did. The world caught on. When Edison came up with a new invention, a dictating machine, none of his regular salesmen thought it would work. They didn't want anything to do with it. But Barnes, he saw his opening. He knew he could sell it, and boy did he. He sold it so well that Edison gave him a contract to sell it all over the country. That partnership made him rich and led to their famous slogan. He literally thought his way into being a partner.
Okay, so how did he actually do it? I mean, how do you take a thought, a desire, and make it real? Well, the good news is Hale doesn't just leave us hanging. He breaks it all down into 6 very specific, very practical steps.
So let's walk through them. First, you've got to fix the exact amount of money you want. No vague, "I want to be rich." Be specific. Second, what are you going to give in return? Nothing is free. Third, set a definite date. When will you have it? Fourth, create a plan, and this is key, start right away. Don't wait. Fifth, write it all down. Get it out of your head and onto paper in a clear statement. And finally, number 6, read that statement out loud, twice a day, and as you do it, you have to see and feel and believe that you already have the money. See, this isn't just daydreaming, it's a very practical technique. By being so specific, you're giving your subconscious mind a crystal clear target. You're building what Hill calls a money consciousness, so your brain literally starts looking for ways to make it happen.
But, it's not all about desire. Persistence is just as important. So let's flip the coin and look at a cautionary tale. This story shows what happens when you don't have that stick-to-itiveness of someone like Barnes.
Okay, so back in the gold rush days, there was this guy, R.U. Darby, and his uncle. They head west dreaming of striking it rich, right? And what do you know? They actually do it. They find this massive vein of gold ore. They're looking at a fortune that could change their lives forever. So they get all this machinery, they start pulling the gold out, and then, poof, it's gone. The vein just disappears. Turns out they'd hit a fault line. They kept drilling, trying to find it again, but nothing. So, totally defeated, they just quit. They sell all their equipment to a local junk man for a couple $100s and just head home. But here's the kicker. The junk man they sold it to, he was a little smarter. He thought, let me get a second opinion. So he brings in a mining expert.
The expert takes a look around and figures out that the vein hadn't disappeared for good. And guess where it was? It was just 3 feet. 3 feet from where the Darbys had stopped digging. That junk man made millions of dollars from that mine.
And this story is a perfect illustration of what Hill says is the #1 reason people fail. They quit when they run into what he calls temporary defeat. So many times, your greatest success is waiting for you just one single step past the point where you feel like giving up.
Which brings us right back around to the main idea of the whole book. This gets us to the core of the secret that Andrew Carnegie wanted to share with the world.
You've probably heard this quote before, but Hill says this isn't just some nice poetic idea. He argues it's a literal fact. You really are the master of your fate, the captain of your soul. The question is, how do you actually grab the wheel and steer your own ship?
And this, right here, is the secret. It's not magic. It's the understanding that your mind acts like a magnet. Whatever your dominant thoughts are, that's what you attract. So by consciously choosing to focus all your energy on a burning desire and then backing that up with relentless persistence, you can literally shape your own reality. You can turn that thought, that desire, into something real.
So, what's the big takeaway from all this? It's that this power, the power to control and direct your own thoughts, it isn't just for the rich and famous. Hill believed it's a tool that every single one of us has. We all have it. So the only question that really matters is, what are you going to build with it?